sense of what's in here. Now, the other thing I've picked out tonight, and I sort of try and pick some different states around the country as we go through these presentations. I've picked a lot of content around Melbourne, and I noticed that there's a lot of attendance from Melbourne on the webinar tonight. Obviously, Melbourne, if you're from New South Wales or Queensland or South Australia, as I noticed on the chart here. It can still apply because it's still something worth looking at from an investment point, but some of the fundamentals can still be applied, obviously, in the other states. And I'll talk about the scorecards of some of the other states. And probably the thing I'll point out here is I'm passionate about Melbourne simply purely from an investment point, not because we live here or because we're located here from a business point, but when you look at investing, it's about making money. It's purely about the numbers, so where you can point to the fundamentals, you've got comfort in what's, sitting on, what's the groundswell underneath, through to, the property you've picked, the location, the type of tenant you're going to attract, the growth history, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they're the things that we look at, but not, our clients have certainly bought in other places around Australia. So why property? We all know property, it's apart from a place that most of us live in and or work in. It's also, from an investment point, a massive asset class that is being used to create some pretty serious wealth around Australia, and it has for a long time. This is not new, but it's something that you absolutely should take the step of being very cautious about. Do your homework, understand that it's not all about pretty planes and millionaire overnight, all that sort of stuff. That's not how it happens. So the type of property purchases that are out there, and for those of you who don't know, breaking it down quite simply, the term off the plan, you've heard probably throughout newspapers and media and probably others that you've talked to. We find this very powerful if it's used in the right way. So when I say used in the right way, it's got to be on the right property with the right developer behind it, that does start the job early or the project early, finishes early, has delivered many before, at a very high quality, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of horror stories, unfortunately, out there where there's still projects that haven't got out of the ground yet because of the financial health of the developer that sits behind. So when I talk about fundamentals and how we do our research, as an example, we go right into the detail of even sometimes calling for an independent report, financial report on that particular developer to kind of, I suppose, tick the box if we have a question mark on it. So that's a very powerful one. The beauty there is something that hasn't been built yet necessarily. You can pay 10% deposit and the balance is paid at the end. So at settlement, no progress payments, no having to fork out, 5 progress stages, that sort of thing. And also you secure it in today's dollars, not say a year's time or year and a half time when it's ready. And it's one of those that, can work really, really well. And something that we've also done personally within the family. House and land can be in 2 and 1 part contracts. 2 part meaning you buy land, you have a build on it. So part of what we do here is we not only source the land and pass that on to you, but also the build itself is a true turnkey, and it doesn't matter where it is located in terms of the land. We get the build done, and that's it's by tier 1 builder, and they provide fencing and landscaping and driveways and clotheslines and letterboxes and blinds and everything that you need in order to put a tenant in there straight away. The reason why you have a 1-part contract is things like self-managed super funds. If they want to buy, say, a house and land package, it has to be 1 contract. So there can't be any progress payments in there. It's got to be like the top line there where the super fund might pay 10% deposit and then pays the balance at the end. They're just the rules that sit around that. Townhouses, again, very, very powerful tool. So for us, if we talk property and talk residential, there is nothing wrong with looking at townhouses, house and land for that matter, and also apartments, and we'll talk a bit about those stats as we go through. So our property selection, now by the way, this here applies to Melbourne, which is why I put the little